Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mark's Backyard Birds. We're talking about birding today. Bird watchers, we tend to think of ourselves as low impact. We don't hurt birds. We don't shoot them. We don't kill them. We don't. We're what we consider low impact hobbies in the environment. But I've birded with a lot of people and a lot of groups over the years, and there are things known as birding ethics, and I've seen so many people who violate those, and I've developed pretty strong opinions, especially having been a bird trip leader now for wow, almost 40 years. And there are good practices and there are unsafe practices when you're out there in nature and trying to see the birds you love. So what are some of those top ones? I'm going to cover several, and the number one word that comes to mind is respect, and that is when you're out in bird watching, then you should really think about how your actions are impacting the natural world out there. And as a trip leader, obviously, I have led groups of birders of many different sizes. And this is something that increases your impact or our impact on birds in the natural world whenever we have large groups bird watching together. Now, eh, I've always had to weigh out the exposure of people being turned on to nature, being increasing their appreciation for nature and birds and especially birds, of course, with me, and teaching them, but also know that when we're out with a large group of people, then we can be negatively impacting the animals out there. So some of the rules of thumb, of course, are with the word respect is be quiet when you're out in nature, and especially if you're trying to see birds or enjoy nature. If you're quiet, you have a far greater chance of spotting the birds and things that you're looking for, and all wildlife in general. Years ago, I read an article that said if you want to find birds in groups of two or less. This is Carrie when she was out with Brian and I one day, and it kind of illustrates two things in this picture. One, of course, is she says binoculars in one hand and a long lens camera in another, because one of the temptations of when you get into bird watching, a lot of people love their cameras and they love to get the best possible picture they can of the birds or the bugs or the bison or whatever you're able to see on your hike. And so the a long camera lens and a good pair of binoculars allows you to see these animals at a safe distance, safe for you and safe for them. Now, these guys right here have changed a lot in the way people get out and enjoy nature, and try to get pictures. The One of the biggest impacts that people have that can negatively impact birds, of course, are their nests. And during the nesting season, they find the nest up in a tree or in a bush, and then they want to get better pictures, and they get closer and closer and closer with their phone, and they want to take pictures. And of course, they're disturbing that nest, that female, even that male who's guarding the nest, or he might be sitting in the nest. There's a Cooper's hawk here, and of course, Cooper's hawks will defend their nest. So I know this picture was taken by a really great photographer. She has a really long lens. She wasn't really close to the nest, so that was a safe distance to take the pictures. Those Cooper's hawks are known to attack people that get really close to their nest, and so it's a safe thing for you. But of course, it's a safe thing for the birds. And then another safety issue, of course, are baby birds. This is a tiny little woodcock, and that is out in a prairie, and it was so cold that day, and it was so early in the spring. Whenever I walked out into the grass, and two or three of us walked out in the grass, I had no idea. I was not even thinking that there could be a woodcock nest that had already hatched and had babies. And sure enough, we flushed the mom and found the two or three woodcock babies on the ground in the grass, and we had to back out slowly because the last thing in the world we want to do is step on those young birds. So not only do obviously you need to be aware and try to and always stay on trails if you can when you're out bird watching for the safety of the birds, but realize that the nesting season can start really early in February, depending on where you live, and how early it is with their baby birds out there. And I know guys that put on boots and they go tromping out into marshlands, and they're kicking nest and disturbing nest of wetland birds out of the thick cattails and things, trying to get a look at them, and it's just not worth it. You don't want to negatively impact those birds, and of course, again, your own safety. We've all seen videos of people with their cameras going out trying to get close-up pictures of megafauna like these bison, the fuzzy cows, as the memes go on Facebook, and you can really get hurt by these animals, and there's no reason to be out there among them. View them from the road, and like I said, good binoculars and good spotting scopes and good camera lenses enable you to do that at a safe distance. So the main message that I wanted to get, and I'm going to get to some backyard messages as well, but when you are out in nature, a trick that has been learned now, I have purposefully not talked about it over the years, is because I don't want to implant the idea in people's heads. It's a very old trick, but in the old days, you used to have to take a tape recorder out with you, and that eliminated a lot of people. But now these devices, with the ability to play bird songs on them and record bird songs on them, have really brought to the forefront one of my biggest messages, and something you won't find me doing, and that is recording a bird and then turning around and playing his song back to him, or just playing a bird song from one of the apps on the phone, and those birds will come in, like a cardinal especially, very aggressive, and you play a cardinal song and they come crashing in, and they're looking for that rival male in his territory. Because for as smart as birds are, they don't know their own reflection. That's why they bang into windows and side mirrors on cars. And of course, they don't know their own voice. So when my professor did this in college to illustrate this point to us and show us, he put a little tape recorder out in the woods and played a cardinal song. The cardinal came and landed on top of the tape recorder and was looking all over for this rival in his territory. Now, why am I so opposed to that? Because we are disturbing wildlife, especially in the nesting season. And that is, you're drawing a bird away from his territory. You're making that bird think that there's a rival in this territory, and he's going to come and try to run him off. And some people will just play over and over and over again because they just love getting these closer up looks. And of course, photographers want to get those best pictures when they come in like that. But what you're doing is drawing that adult away from his territory. He should be defending his nest. He should be incubating eggs. He should be gathering food. He should be doing all kind of things to take care of what his responsibilities. But by luring him away with ever playing these tapes, then you've exposed that nest to a predator. You maybe kept him from getting enough insects, or he's got several hungry mouths to feed. You just don't need to do it. I've been bird watching a long, long time, and I remember I was up in Minnesota years ago, and I ran into local guys up in way northern Minnesota. And I told him, I was looking for a blackback woodpecker or American three-toed, which occur up there, don't occur down here. And the guy said, "You'll never see them without a tape. You've got to pay their tape. You got to play the tape." I said, "Okay, well, I don't do that." And guess what? I got both of them on my life list without playing tape. So it takes patience, and it takes time being out in the field when you're looking for birds, and putting yourself and doing some good research and putting yourself in the right places. But I do not believe in playing tapes, because I believe if I play tapes, then those 10 people that are on my bird hike are going, "Oh, I ought to do that." And then they're going to play the tapes for other people. And notice that the birds are getting absolutely disturbed everywhere all the time. Now, if you've ever been to some of the really famous bird watching locations in the country, a lot of them have signs that say, "Do not play tapes. Do not play," because these birds get bombarded with these tapes. And of course, they can get so run to death, and they can get intimidated, and they may leave the territory. They may leave the area because they think, "Oh, there's too many other males here. I've got to go find another break." So don't play tapes, please. It is and I don't even believe in doing it in your own backyard. I just don't. Low impact birding, as we say. Now, one part of low impact birding, the newer technology, even newer than phones, the drones. People are talking about flying drones with the cameras on them to find birds out over wetland areas and on sandbars. The things they're hard to see and reach. Again, the birds are intimidated by these flying out. They think they're hawks, or they think they're would be predators. And so that's another thing. Why disturb the birds? Just use patience and time and your skills, your listening skills, and your optics to find these birds and enjoy them. So technology, we need to reduce the impact. Now, something we cover for the backyard, of course, how do we impact that? The message there is don't check your nest boxes too often. I know people say they check their nest box every day, which is way too often. You're disturbing the birds. Now, she may end up, go ahead and pulling the nest off. But remember, every time you go out there and check that, raise that door, check that impact, you're putting your scent around that box. And, things like raccoons, who are always on the lookout for a free meal, they know that humans have, waste behind them, and they associate that scent with food, and you may be drawing these would-be predators to your bird houses. So just think about your impact there. They're recommended just once every 4 to 5 days, and that is fine. Don't check it too often. And be a low impact birder. Respect is the word today. So I hope this helps. This was actually a recommended program. I traded a message back and forth with a YouTuber about this, and he said, "Please, Mark, do a program on this." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to put it out there." But that is my stand on the issue, and I know there are other bird watchers out there that feel differently than me, but I think my way is safer for the birds and safer for you. So use good birding ethics. Great idea for a program. Thank you so much. Give us a like, give us a share. If you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and click that bell so you'll get notifications when I'm on. So thank you so much. Until then, come on, let's talk birds.